Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2022. Let's hope that it's a better year than it was 2021 or 2020. Anyways, we can all hope. I wanted to share with you today some new paper dolls, but I've made them into angels. I wanted to share them with you. They're scented, and so I've decorated them up and thought I would share them with you. And I have some other decorated items. This is just a little girl that is also scented, and this is a pretty heart that I've layered with scented lace. I have these, people have asked me for the graphics for these dolls, and so I finally got them done, and they are in my shop, and this is what you receive. There's 3 different collections. You'll get, with each of them, you'll get a front and a back, you know, reversible, and the front, and also these here come with that collection. And then there's these girls, and you'll get a front and a, you know, reversible images as well as this one. And then here are their other part that goes with them. And then this girl has been the most asked about, popular one, and you will get a reverse of this as well as the front and the back. And this comes in. I made this very large because you might want to reduce it, and I want to give you that opportunity and that option. Okay, so let's take those are in my Etsy shop, and the link is below. So let's take a little look at these. That's the front, this is the back, and these wings come with the collection. Okay, so you can cut them out. This set of wings that I did for this little girl is made out of a paper doily, and I will show you how to do that. Now if I can find the paper doily, where the heck did I put it? Oh, I just don't have enough room, I'm telling you. Okay, it's over here. There they are. These are 4-inch doilies, and you just fold them in half, and you pad them with scented lace. And I'm going to show you how to make the lace scented, so you don't have to wonder about that. I do have a video out on just paper dolls that are scented. They're in my channel. You can check those out as well. But I just had so much fun making these into angels. I could have gone crazy. I did a little bit, but I just enjoyed them because you can do a lot. So you can make the wings that come with it, and all I did with these is I inked them with pink ink, you know. And this is just a glued on hot fix type trim that I got at Hobby Lobby. And once you put hot glue on it, it melts right into her head. And then the string and a bow. Okay, this one I did a little snippet, and I did a sari silk bow. Gave her a little heart charm. This is going to my bathroom. These are great. Let me tell you what the smell is. These are smelled lavender, okay? And lavender, even though this one came and it's purple, okay, it does not turn the fabric purple. This is the one I used, actually. I got this on Amazon, but Walmart sells them as well. They're just always out, so I said, forget it, I'll just buy them on Amazon. And as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. And it does not turn your lace or your fabric purple. And this as well, French vanilla, does not turn any color. And this one is my favorite. It's called Feelin' Cozy by Scentsationals. Scented wax cubes are what they are. And it does not change colors. Now here's another lavender, a different mainstays, and this one is white, and it, you know, it doesn't do anything to change the color as well. So you've got some choices with that. But if you like different colors, you can get them. Here is cinnamon spice, and it will turn everything red, kind of a pinkish red. Let me see if I can find some samples. I brought them over here, and now, of course, they've disappeared. That always happens to me. Okay. This is some samples of the cinnamon and spice. Now this scent here smells like, to me, like those atomic hot balls we used to have when we were kids, and our kids had when they were kids, and still our grandchildren have now that they're kids. Cinnamon spice. I don't really care for it because of that smell. But I did make a flower out of lace with it. You can make flowers with these, and I've made a few to show you. Let me see here. I want to bring these over so you can see. Okay. I'm going to actually show you how to melt the wax, if I can just get there. All right, this is what I did here. This is a cotton, and I ripped it about 1 inch wide by 12 inches long. Then I gathered it up. I sewed it, I hand sewed it, and then I put some pretty little netting or tulle that they, tulle, decorative tulle. It had flowers on it. Then I added some German glass glitter, and it was the same color as the flower of the netting, so that made it look really nice. This one is about the same size, and I waxed that and scented it, and then I used some sari silk to make a center for that. And these are really, really nice. They're flexible. This is my favorite one. This is a white one that I scented, and then I gathered, hand stitched, put it together. I did not scent the pink part. I just the white, because it's strong enough, really. I just took some netting, I took a glob of it, and I put it on there. I glued the center with hot glue, and then I snipped around and made it the size that I wanted, and I also snipped in between to make kind of like petals just on the pink. I didn't touch the white. I kept that the same as it was, and then I added some pink seed beads. I put a pile of hot glue in the center. I put the pink seed beads in there, and I let it set for a second before I touched it, and then I just kept pushing them around, getting them into the shape that I want. This is fully waxed with lavender, and it was blue. This is as blue as it was. And this is a bigger one. This is about 1.25 inches by 12 inches long, and you could just make them and put flowers on top of them. If you're making like a wreath or a shoe or decorative, a gift maybe, an angel, you can make a hat out of these. Just take a strip of lace, and you're gonna melt the wax, and then you're gonna hand stitch it. So you just stitch it together, gather it and pull it, and then you've got something very pretty. You can also put some baby's breath coming out of there, maybe some leaves coming out of there. I mean, there really is no end to what you can do with these. This is a heart that is going in a journal that I'm working on, and I waxed the top and the bottom. This is cotton. It's this polka dot cotton. It was a white, off-white, but it didn't change colors. But what I did was I inked it because I wanted to make it pink. So, but in between, I put pink. I took pink netting, something like this, some of that filigree netting type thing, and I waxed that, and I cut it out in my heart shape, and then I just sewed them all together with a stitch, and then I put some appliques and a hanger on there, and that really was just to go into a journal as a thank you. And what it does is when you put it in your journal, oh, it smells so good. Your journal smells so good. And a couple other things before we get to the angels. I am working on a journal here. It's far from done. But anyways, I'm working on it. And what I made was, okay, where is it? I made an insert, a scented insert. Okay, I know I put it in here. Where did I put it? These are not together yet, so. Oh, there it is. I don't know how it got out, but it got out. But anyways, this is going to go into that journal. This lace is scented, and here I put a layer of lace. I doubled it, and I glued it on. Now, I haven't finished the back yet. This is what happens when you use hot glue on something you've melted wax on. So what I usually do is tacky glue, because then it doesn't show through the paper. These are actually melted, waxed. They are waxed. This is waxed. And you can just, if they smush down and they melt down, you can just brighten them up and move them around. It's still very workable. The wax is still the fabric is still very workable, even after it's waxed. You can actually rip the fabric after it's been waxed. And so what I'm going to do back here, I'll put a piece of plain paper. I'll use my tacky glue and cover that up, and you'll never know. And see, it's just going to go like this. Open it. You're going to open it up in your journal. And oh, smell it. Oh, it smells like wonderful flowers. And on this, I'm working on this journal as well. Now this girl is from that collection that I showed you earlier, which is buried right now, so I'm not going to go and find it. But she's going to be on here. She's on here, period. And I'm working on this. And so what I've done, it's far from done, you know. It's really far from done. I've just started it. But what I'm going to do, here she is in here too as well. I'm going to put this, yeah, okay. All right, get over here. I'm going to take that, and this is totally scented, okay? I waxed this lace. I waxed all of this trim. I waxed all the trim here. I waxed all of this trim and all of this applique. Then I put a piece of napkin on the back of it, and it's all waxed. Excuse me. And I used Eileen's tacky glue because it doesn't show through after you glue it on. It's all waxed, and it's beautiful. And you can just throw it in your journal and put your journal away. And when you come back and you open it up, oh, it smells so nice. Okay. And then I have, this is a snippet that I made for this envelope. And it comes off. I just put it on one of these bowl pins. And what I did was this is 2 pieces of waxed lace. And then I don't think I waxed anything else. I might have waxed a little bit more lace up here. Probably did. And then I just added this puffy flower and seam binding and a little piece of lace here and applique to match it. But see, if somebody doesn't want that on there, all they have to do is take it off, because it's a bowl pin, and you can actually take it off and hang it in your bathroom. I mean, I love these things for the bathroom because they really, oh, they are so nice. Here's another flower. I don't know if I showed you that one. But I put some more tulle on here. It's called tulle. A lot of people have a hard time to pronounce that. And if you remember a man's tool, like a hammer or pliers, they're always looking for their tool. Well, we're always using our tool. Same thing, but it's spelled T-U-L-L-E. I worked in interior design for a while for Ethan Allen, so I learned that pretty quickly. All right, so that's that. And this little girl, she's also in one of the collections that I showed you. What I did with her is I waxed this lace here, and I gave her 2 layers. I waxed this, I gathered it, sewed it around her. Then I added these strips of waxed lace, and then I added this tulle over her skirts, and I added a little thing here. She would look great on a wreath, Valentine's Day, and I didn't even decorate her much because I just wanted to get her done. I was experimenting with a lot of different things and playing around, so I didn't take a lot of time with her. I was more interested in my angels because they were so much more you could do with them. But she could hang in a bathroom, she could hang in a car, she, you know, as a what do you call it? Deodorizer, you know, and she's reversible. I made her reversible. So let's talk about this right here, and let me show you. I've got to turn on my iron, and this is a handheld iron. It's a Rowenta or a Rowenta, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a steam and press. I love the thing. And it works really, really fast. So what I did here is I cut out that I cut out the girls just as they were. I cut these girls apart, and I actually cut them down a little bit on the sides. I cut off her wings because you have another set here and you can print out as many as you need. And then for her, I also cut her dress and made it a little, not real, because I still wanted fullness. And as you can see, she's a little bit more fuller because I left that dress a little bit fuller. She's a little bit not so full because I cut her down. So you want to decide what you want to do. So I cut them out. I cut the fronts and the backs. I put some cardstock in between. And then I actually made 2 more copies of front and back, because if you mess up with the glue or something, then you have it and you can glue it on top of your mess, whatever it happens to be. So then what I did, and you can see her skirt, you can see her dress right here. That's the dress. So you can see how I cut it. I just took strips of my waxed fabric and I hot glued, okay? I hot glued them up to her waist. And I decided how many, you know, how long I wanted it, and then I cut them all. I cut cotton, lace, and lace trim. And I just kept alternating. And then I put some, this is a applique from a bridal gown, and I have a very long piece, so I put front and back. And you go all the way around. I also put some ribbon. Now this sheer ribbon, I believe it's organza, it does not wax well. It takes the shine away. It looks terrible, so I wouldn't recommend it. But everything else, this has some kind of sparkly stuff in it, and the wax didn't take it away. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyways, okay. So what you need to do for this is you need some parchment paper. And I've got some pieces of the lavender right in there because I've been using it. And you take a kitchen knife and you take your pieces of lace, whether it be your muslin. I'm just going to cut these in half. I'm going to show you, you can put a lot of pieces at once. This does not have to do one at a time. That's too much for me. Because it's lace, and even the muslin does well, the cotton does well. If you put in, you know, 5 or 6 pieces, it still will melt very well. Now see, I'm just kind of piling it up. I'm going to show you. Then I take this from here, where the wax is, and I peel some of the wax, and I just put it over the lace. Just kind of, you know, kind of like, how would you call it? Shredding it, not really big chunks, but you can put big chunks because they will melt. I mean, it's an iron. And because I got a lot of lace in here, I'm going to put a little bit. And if it's not enough, I can just always redo it. It's not a big deal. I think it will be enough. Okay, and then you close this down. And you take your nice hot iron. And you just go over the wax. And you can watch it melt. So I've had my iron hot too much sometimes because you can see the black on there. So I'm doing this on felt. I highly recommend that, or an old sheet or an old towel. I wouldn't do it on a bare surface because your surface, whatever it is going to get hot and it's going to get moist, and you could warp something or you could burn something. So it's always good to have a padding underneath. Okay. Now, that is strong, but that's what we want. Because when it dries, and you could just rub this into the wax even more. Give it a second or two to lighten up, you know, to cool down. And then you can close this up and put it on top and just, you don't have to play with it. I just leave them all bunched up, and then when I know they're dry, and what I mean dry, they're stiff, okay? And it doesn't take very long, and I can sew them, then I do. Turn off my iron, because I don't like to have that. Now for her wings, what I did here is I folded this 4-inch paper in half, doily, and I took some lace. Where did my lace go? Here's some lace. And I melted the wax on that. I did it like this because I wanted a few layers. And then when it was done, I stuck it in there, cut around it, glued them together, and then I glued it on her, just like that. See? And then I added some pearls, and I redid her arms. I did a second thing of arms and hands. Her hands have white on them because there's actually they're gloves. I put gloves on her because I thought it looked cool with the lace, but it might look confusing to you. I don't know. So anyways, but, and then I made a little snippet out of a flower, and like I said, sari silk. Sari silk is so versatile. I love it. I use it for everything now. Okay, so now these are done, and they're ready to be glued on to a dress, to a doll, whatever. And like I said, you can always ink these, and then I put glitter. I did put cardstock in between because I wanted them to be strong, and I did 2 sides. They're reversible. So you cut out 2 and the cardstock in between. I added some pearls. Yeah, so these are going to go in my bathroom and one in my bedroom. And I did the arms separately. I cut some out and I added lace because I wanted it to match her pink gown. So I think that's all I was going to cover for today. It went faster than I thought it would, which is pretty good. So anyways, I hope you'll stop over to my shop. So if you like these graphics, if you'd like to make some angels, you could make them anything you want. You don't have to make them angels. But I only have the angel wings on one collection. The rest are regular people, but you can cut them out and make them into angels. And these would be great for journals and Valentine's Day, anything. I think they're fun. This one has a little black poodle, which I think is very cute. She's a vintage poodle from one of my vintage cards. So thanks for stopping by and checking it out. And if you have any questions, you can leave comments. And if you like this video, please hit like. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, we'll be back later. Bye-bye.